Look at that sleepy kitty. He is trying his hardest to ignore me, but I figured he would be the perfect opening for a just kind of report on my week, etc. I had a fantastic week. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't just my birthday, it was just a absolutely fantastic week. You didn't get me? Parky's like, do you have food? No, I don't have food. No, I don't have food. Come here. Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty. Anyway, I will report on my week, but I figured we'd also go feed the raccoons and maybe even see if we can get like extreme close ups. I actually have you guys on the tripod, which is something I almost never do. So let's go look at raccoons. You know, I was afraid for a minute there that they weren't going to come out. But no, there they are. He's like, what's this? You're sniffing my camera, you silly thing. Here, you want some food? There you go. So, yeah, I had a fantastic week. I feel like my Denture's culinary adventure is getting better and better by the day because this week I not only managed to eat the steak, which was my birthday treat, but today I am very happy to report I actually ate a salad, which is something I was kind of afraid that I was never going to be able to eat again because according to the sites that I was on, like Reddit and etc., according to Reddit, lettuce is supposedly one of the very hard things that a lot of people can't actually chew with dentures. But I did it. Now, granted, my version of a salad is literally just iceberg lettuce and dressing, but I was able to eat it, and that made me very happy. So, and I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but cereal is also back on the table. I wasn't sure, but I fixed myself Cheerios and they worked out probably too well. Cereal's one of my downfalls. It's one of those things where I'm one of those weirdos that pours the milk in first and then just keeps refilling the bowl till all the milk is gone. Not the wisest thing if you're trying for a calorie restriction, but what you gonna do? It tastes good. Thankfully, I don't have cereal every day, or I would be in a much worse state as far as my weight loss plans. Which, I mean, I feel like I'm doing really good with the walking thing. I feel like I have gotten many, many miles in this week, and we're going to go back into the house and I will talk some more. All right, all nice and back in the house. It's funny. I feel like I get really self-conscious when I notice other people. I'm like, they're going to think I'm the world's weirdest person just standing out here looking like I'm talking to myself, even if I am talking to a camera. And even though my neighbor knows that I do YouTube, I still feel weird. And I could see her and her husband moving around in their cabin. And I was like, maybe we'll just go back inside. Because I usually try to speak loudly enough that I am enunciating to you guys. And that makes me really self-conscious. That's also the reason if I see other humans, like while I'm out on the trail or anything like that, I immediately either pause the video or stop it or whatever. Not only because it's rude to film other people, but because I feel self-conscious. I feel like that's one of my big downfalls. I probably care too much what people think about me while at the same time not caring at all. It's a weird dichotomy. Anyway, so like I said, this week has been very good on Christine's culinary adventures. I did have one little mishap, which was kind of hilarious, and I should have expected it. I made a chicken noodle soup. Well, no, chicken barley soup with all of my potatoes and carrots from my garden because I had saved them, thankfully, in the refrigerator so they didn't go bad or anything. But I had saved them and I cut them all up and I took my chicken and I made a beautiful bone broth. Wonderful, absolutely tasted great. Didn't stop to think. And if you ever think that you might end up with dentures in the future, remember that broth, like soup broths, especially if they're kind of on the salty side, remember that warm saline solution is one of the things that they tell you to help loosen denture adhesive if you can't get your dentures out. And I was eating the soup and sipping on the broth, and suddenly I realized when I was chewing the potato and the chicken and the barley that my bottom dentures were moving up and down. And I was like, wait, I chewed a steak yesterday and my dentures stayed in place, and I'm eating soup and they're coming out. It was funny. It made me laugh. And yeah, the discovery that salad is back on the menu has made me beyond happy because I really was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to eat it. It was a little weird. I mean, I did have to thoroughly rinse my mouth out because the lettuce leaves do kind of stick in odd places, but I was able to eat it, and that I am taking as a win. So yeah, it has been food-wise a fantastic week, and I figured I would let you guys in and on that because I realize I talked a lot in the lead up to getting the dentures, and I updated you guys while I was miserable. And now that I'm not miserable, I feel like I'm not giving you guys the updates on what's going on. Things are getting better. Not 110%. Like, my gums themselves are great, but because these are still temporary dentures, I won't be getting my permanent ones probably till spring, because they want to make sure that your jaw changes, your gums change for a decent amount of time, and they want everything to settle as good as they can before they actually make the molds for the permanent ones. But because of that, you know, they're not perfect. They still give me pain in a couple of spots, but it's so much better than it was. I think for the first 2 months after all of the dental work, I think for the first 2 months, I was living mostly on Tylenol and Motrin, which I found out you can take a Tylenol and a Motrin. Like, you can take them and alternate, like take 2 Tylenol and then 2 hours later take 2 Motrin. And that's what I did when the pain was really bad for like the first week or so after I got everything done. But now I've discovered if you take a Tylenol and a Motrin together, it does a really good job of like knocking out all pain. I was like, ooh, this is a good life hack. So I probably should look it up and see if there are any detriments to doing it that way, because it's become my go-to. I'm like, okay, that hurts a little bit and my foot hurts, so I'm gonna have a Tylemotrin. Speaking of foot hurts, that has become the one drawback to all of the walking that I've been doing. And it's mostly from my old shoes that I was wearing when I first started all of the walking. I got a bruise on my heel from stepping onto the road with these, as you can see, very thin-soled shoes. And I stepped on the road and there was a piece of gravel, well, rock, and it was sticking up and it ground into my heel. And I'm stubborn, so I just kept walking, and now it hurts really bad, but not when I'm walking. Because once I start walking, the endorphins kick in and I feel fine. And then when I get home and when I wake up in the morning, my foot really hurts. I really hope that this heals up, and I know it probably will take even longer to heal if I keep walking like 6 miles a day, but I like walking 6 miles a day. So if anybody has any advice, like if there's like a heel cup that you can put in your shoe or anything that helps with something like that, drop it in the comments down below, because I don't want to stop walking. Although I did decide when I finished the Protector of the Small series, which that video will be going up tonight, but I finished it earlier. When I finished that, I did decide that Kel has inspired me, because I've been afraid to pull my bicycle out of the garage and, get it all fixed up, because I keep thinking I fall down enough when I'm just walking. I actually have bruises all up and down my legs, because when you're out walking on these back roads, I swear they're not. I'm not silly. I do know that this is not a real thing, but I swear the tree roots, I think they're related to Tolkien's Ents, because every now and then a tree root that you don't even see trips you. So I've managed to trip and fall probably 3 times in this last week while out walking, and my shins are so bruised. You wouldn't think that you could bruise from landing on dirt, but trust me, I can. So that's kind of been holding me back from pulling out my bike, because I know that I'm a klutz, and I'm like, all right, if I can fall and get a bruise from just walking, what's going to happen if I fall off this bike? But I've decided I am going to take inspiration from Caladry of Middelin, the Protector of the Small, face my fears, and see if I can't conquer the bike again. If I do, expect to be strapped to the handlebars of the bike, and we'll go for a bike ride. It'll be much faster than a walk. And the other reason I kind of want to get into biking again is I've almost reached the limit of how far I can go without really packing a backpack and like bringing food and stuff, because I can walk about 8 or 9 miles, and that usually takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours of walking, which is great. But anything farther than that, it's going to be even longer. So I'm like, I've pretty much reached the limit of my radius for walking around the house, and I'm either going to have to drive to new hiking spots, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of walking, or I'm going to have to break out the bike so I can try some new paths that are farther away. I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated on what I decide to do. It's almost a moot point, because we're getting to the end of hiking season, but we're not at the end yet. And I am thinking, if I can conquer my fear of falling off a bike, then I can go to farther and farther places, and we can go on more adventures together. So that has been my week. I think it was a pretty dang good week. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. But now I am tired. I am going to upload this video, and then I am going to curl up and go to bed, because that is the other good side effect of all of this walking. I sleep like a rock, which I'm not complaining about. So thank you for joining me. Please do hit the thumbs up on your way out. I really would appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not already. If you're not following me on Instagram, and don't feel like you have to, but I do post a fairly decent amount of just pictures things that strike my fancy when I'm out on my trail walks. So if you're interested in watching that, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys later.